What do we do when range days get too expensive and dry firing at home gets too boring? Let me introduce you to the Smokeless Range. Hey, what's up guys? Yako Khalili with Sheepdog Response. Hey, we're gonna introduce you to the Smokeless Range here. Now I grew up in the 80s and the 90s and I loved first person shooters. I love to go to the arcade, grab the gun and start shooting at the screen. The Smokeless Range kind of imitates that a little bit. We're gonna be talking about a few things when it comes to the Smokeless Range. All right, the first and foremost is that it's very safe. It's a laser-based system that you're shooting at a screen, so you don't have to worry about your left and right limits just like you were at an active range. There are a little bit of cost whenever you purchase the system, but after that it belongs to you, so it's very cost effective. It's very mobile. I pack up my camera, I pack up my laptop and my projector, and I can take it anywhere that I want, and it's very fun, man. Let's get into it. So let's go into some of the options and details of the Smokeless Range. The cool thing about it is it allows you to do scenario-based training, self-defense training, and marksmanship training. Also, you guys can see from the basic Smokeless Range Simulator, it comes with a lot of fun games that you can play with your friends. So let's jump into it. So on this page, you can see that it has like bomb blast, can toss. These are all games that I can either play by myself or I can play with my friends. If we pick something like the dueling tree, so on the dueling tree, I mean, obviously I can play this by myself, but it's designed for two people. Whoever gets all the targets onto one side is gonna win. But this is a great game to practice your draw, practice your speed, practice your target acquisition, side picture, side alignment. You have to go through all of your fundamentals in order to be successful at this game. And when you add the pressure of having a partner next to you or one of your friends next to you, it actually like elevates your adrenaline a little bit, makes it a little bit more realistic. Again, it's not like an actual range where I have to worry about my left and right limits or even spending ammo. This is how I switch ammo on the Smokeless Range, but we can do this for fun, man. So this laser gun, I got it specifically with the red dot. You can get these with the IR laser, but I got it with the red dot so that whenever I'm teaching fundamentals, I can show people that what happens whenever you cross your muzzle in front of people. But the cool thing about this camera that comes with the Smokeless Range is that it reads IR lasers, which are invisible, and red dot lasers at the same time. So this system is very versatile depending on your preference. Again, I like to have the red dot because I want to show my students exactly what happens when they don't point their weapon in a safe direction. Well, it makes it a little bit easier to cheat on the shooting, but that's easy. This thing right here unscrews just like that, and I can replace this piece with an IR laser. That one go right in, I screw it right back in, and we'll back to work. So whenever it comes to different types of weapons that I want to use for this training, it does come with a blue barrel. So like I got this Glock Simulator. It looks like a real Glock. It's the exact same size as my Glock 17. And I got this weapon specifically so I can use it in my holster that I already use today. So if I put this inside of my sling bag that I carry, my off-body carry every single day, this will fit right into my my holster. But they have different types. Obviously, there's so many pistols out there. They're not going to have pistols that are going to match everybody's weapon, but I will say that a lot of companies, like this company right here specifically, makes laser ammo blue barrels, which will go into your actual pistol that you could screw an IR or red dot laser into it and use that for this type of training. The differences between a simulated Glock like this, where it actually functions, and a laser is that for the one that functions, obviously I can practice my draw, I can practice locking my slide through the rear, doing my safety checks. From retention, I can use it to load my magazine, drop the slide just like I would in regular shooting. So that part of dry firing will work very well with this weapon. But also when I start presenting it and I shoot my gun, you can see that with the green gas that goes into the bottom of this magazine, it actually makes the weapon function back and forth. So the slide will operate back and forth just like a real Glock would. Obviously the recoil or the recoil management isn't gonna be the same as a regular pistol, but it gives you that little bit of a simulation. And also, again, make sure my fundamentals are good to go. So if my grip is improper or if I don't manage recoil properly, my weapon's gonna function and basically teach me that. Yeah, so when I talk about the difference between this gun and this one, right, obviously it's battery operated, but the cool thing about this is I can program it so I can determine how many rounds in it, how it's going to malfunction. I can set all of those things apart, but this is just a laser system, right? So whenever I put the the magazine in or the battery pack in and I squeeze the trigger, again, the laser will still go off, but there's not going to be any recoil, right? So this is a lot easier for me to transition from target to target. I will be able to practice my draw and stuff like that, but it doesn't function like a real weapon, so I'm not going to get the other fundamentals as far as loading and unloading procedures are concerned, but I'll still get my basic fundamentals as far as side picture, side alignment. All of those things are going to be the same. Just because it doesn't recoil, it just makes it more of a toy as opposed to a training aid like a functioning weapon would be. So we can go through real quick as to what games and what scenarios that the Smokeless Range is on. We'll start with the Bomb Blast. So a Bomb Blast is basically a bomb version of the can toss where it's moving targets and you have to work on your timing, side picture, side alignment, things of that sort. It's just a fun game. It's going to be hopping back and forth, but it's really about trying to time your targets. Let's say we're in a scenario where my target is running, like in real life, my target is running. Something like the Bomb Blast will teach us the placement of my sight in order to lead my target or to follow my target. This is a fun way of doing it. Again, it's a game that my kids could play. I don't actually have to have somebody running in order for me to practice this, but it's basically a game to see whoever can time their shots better. The next game we're going to be talking about is called Match Target. The cool thing about Match Target is it makes you identify positive targets, right? Which is a great skill if I'm going into a room and I want to make sure that I'm shooting the bad guy, or if I'm at an event and something happens, I want to make sure that I identify what my target is and I'm only shooting the thing that needs to be identified. This is a great self-defense tool because we have to be accountable for all of our rounds, right? I can't just sit and shoot willy-nilly at a target and not worry about what I'm hitting. Match Target kind of trains our eye to identify what the problem is and then use our weapon to address the problem.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So you can see here, the target I need to match is the triangle on the bottom. If I shoot something other than that, the target's going to go away. And I'm not going to get credit for shooting the proper target until I actually do. So let's go back and do it again, and this time I'll just shoot the correct target. All right, you can see that if obviously it's easy for me to identify my target when I'm already have my weapon out and I'm able just to point it at the target I want to shoot. But I could do this drill from retention. Doesn't matter if I'm carrying an appendix, if I put it in my low vis waist pack, if I put it in my sling bag, I can practice on the draw. And this will give me a score based on hits, misses, and the time it takes for me to identify my target and to take an effective shot. All right, when you go to laser ammo, there's different packages I can get. There's like a basic simulator. Then there's something like the Open Range 2. This is something that I can buy all of these as a package, or if I want to buy them individually, the Open Range 2 is one of those options. Costs about $400 if you go to laser ammo. And let's look into what are options for this. Woo! I don't know what to tell you. So Open Range 2 is basically a bunch of scenarios, which is just stage shoots. So if you've ever done any steel challenge shots or steel challenges, this is just like that. If you go to a steel challenge, one station might be something like the Angry Peacock where they have alternating targets. Some of them are shoots and some of them are no shoots. This is just a virtual version of that. So as we go through these selections, you can find some games. And the cool thing about this, again, it counts your hits, it counts your misses. It tells you how long it took you to take your first shot and how long it took you until your last shot. So it's going to grade you just basically electronically. Again, I can always add pressure by either like competing against another person. As you can see, after all of these matches, you have an ability to put your name in, and who doesn't want to be number one on the leaderboard? You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what the Open Range 2 is about. So we talked about earlier about there being an opportunity for you to train with somebody else. So if you look at most of these games, you click on options, you can see that on the top, you can pick how many shooters it is. I think this one only goes up to 2 people, but that's great. So you can see on here, it's got 2 people on it. The targets are going to pop up on their own side. As you can see, as I'm shooting, it transitions to the next thing. Yeah, so imagine like you're having fun. you're having fun, you're learning, which is more important, right? I take this to a party with somebody, or I take this to like a gathering, even like a kid's party. I set it up, we'll get some good quality training, have some fun at the same time. Like it's a great option. It does cost about 4 or 5 trips to the range, but if you shoot this thing 5 days in a row, it's already paid for itself. Take this to parties. You're gonna have fun with your family. They're gonna learn the fundamentals of shooting. Obviously, it's depending on the options that you use. Some options are gonna be different, but they're both gonna be beneficial. All right, so let's talk about some of the cons, right? Obviously, whenever you buy the base model or the base laser ammo smokeless range system, it's about $600. It's gonna come with a program, it's gonna come with a camera, the tripod, and the cord. So everything else that you see here that we're using, whether it's a recoil-enabled weapon, the laser gun, the projector, the laptop, these are all things that you're gonna have to buy separately. So if you put all of those things together, it could come out to like $1,500 to $2,000 as an initial cost in order to get this started. But once you get done with that, again, like I said, it pays for itself over time. All right, some other cons for this is obviously it's not like going to the actual range. There are ways, just like any other video game or any type of electronic system, there are ways to cheat the game. One of those things again is even though this has recoil, it's not going to recoil like a real weapon. So I might get used to shooting this gas-powered gun as opposed to shooting an actual live gun. So I want to make sure that once I do get on the range that I'm paying attention to what type of weapon I'm shooting and realize that it's not, again, a simulation. The second thing is, as you can see, this takes up a lot of space. Whatever size projection screen that I'm using, whatever size projector I'm using, that's going to take up some space. Obviously, they have some laser projectors and even some short throw projectors I can use. That might limit the distance I need between the projector and the screen itself, but I'm still going to need to spread out. And as you can see, just having this little setup, it takes up a lot of space. All right, guys, so that's it for our little class and review on the smokeless range. Obviously, we talked about earlier that this is a great happy space between dry firing and live training. I also want to make sure that I'm getting some type of training in, right? All of the dry fire, we talk about all of the fundamentals that I need to have in order to be successful in a self-defense situation. This is going to be the middle spot, right? So before that, I have all of my dry fires, all of my practicing my draws from retention or from my low-vis waist pack, or however you're going to carry your weapon. I do want to continue to practice drawing out of that thing. Then I can take it to the smokeless range where I can start working on my shooting fundamentals, my stance, my grip, my breathing, my side picture, side alignment, and my follow through. And then you always want to finish at the range to make sure that all of the fundamentals you did with your dry firing and with your smokeless range comes together when I'm actually shooting rounds downrange, okay? Make sure you guys hit us up in the comments if there are other ways that you think that we could dry fire, other ways that we could find a middle ground between dry firing and the range, or even in range training. Hit us up in the comments or hit us up at training@sheepdogresponse.com. All of our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We read all the comments and it helps us to evolve our drills, evolve our technique, and even maybe evolve some of our curriculum. But check us out at sheepdogresponse.com.